Hello, welcome to the lesson. So I'm going to show you how to play Johnny Be Good, which is that awesome rock and roll solo by Chuck Berry. So let me demonstrate what I'm going to show you in this lesson. It's going to sound like this. It's awesome, isn't it? Okay, now one thing I will say is I hope you've had a chance to look at free lesson number 10 from the free 12-part course. And as you're probably aware, in that free lesson I showed you the rock and roll rhythm, which sounds like this. Now, I hope you've had a chance to look at that and practice it, because what we can do, we can take that rhythm part and we can integrate it with this lead solo that we're about to learn. So, you know, if you haven't learned it yet, please do so. But also what I'm going to show you in this lesson is a few extra rock and roll licks that you can integrate into your rock and roll improvisation just to make it sound even cooler. And that'll give you a bit of freedom just to, you know, experiment with different riffs. But anyway, enough talking. Let me show you how to play this solo. So the first thing you need to do is to take your middle finger and put it on the 3rd string at fret 2. What we're going to do is slide from fret 2 to fret 6 quite quickly, like that. And then play the 2nd string at fret 5, and then the 2nd string at fret 7. So it should sound like this. Good. Now take your first finger and put it on strings 1 and 2, and just to make this clear, I'm holding them both down flat, and I'm going to pluck it and slide up a fret like this. And once you're there, pluck it 2 more times. So it should sound like this. And I want you to do that 3 times, like this. Excellent. Now take your middle finger and put it on the 2nd string at fret 8, and then step down onto the 2nd string at fret 7, and then the 2nd string at fret 5. And then put your first finger onto the 3rd string at fret 5 and hammer your middle finger onto fret 6, like this. Good. Then play the 4th string at fret 7, and then off to the 4th string at fret 5. Let me just play you those last few notes. Excellent. Okay, and by the way, let me just tell you right now, this is quite a challenging solo. There's a lot to it, so I don't expect you to memorize it and be able to play it perfectly straight away. You're probably going to have to watch this video several times really to get the hang of it. But in the meantime, just stick with me and just follow what I'm saying and just play it as I'm showing it to you, okay? So the next thing you want to do is take your middle finger and put it on the 5th string at fret 7, and also have your 3rd finger on the 4th string at fret 7 right next to it. And we're going to use the palm of our hand to create a palm muting effect, like what I showed you in the free 12-part course. Just gently touching the strings, and you're going to pluck them 8 times. And just to make that clear, I am plucking both the 5th and the 4th string with the palm muting, okay? And then once you've done that, you're going to do a slide, just like you did at the start of the song, from fret 2 to fret 6 on the 3rd string. And then you're going to play the 2nd string at fret 5, and then the 2nd string at fret 7, and then back off to 5. And then you're going to do this. You're going to do a little slide down to the 3rd string at fret 4. Okay? And you'll notice I sort of went from fret 6 down to 4. And then play the 4th string at fret 7. I'm using my little finger there. And then off to the 4th string at fret 4. Okay, let me just demonstrate that last little lick. Excellent. Okay, stick with me. We'll keep going, and then I'll demonstrate the whole thing in slow motion once I get to the end. Okay, so the next bit goes like this. Okay, what that is, you'll see that I'm using my 3rd finger and my middle finger on the 3rd string, holding it down at fret 7, and we're plucking and bending the note upwards. That's quite tricky if you're not used to that. You might have to just pause the video and practice it. Once you've done that bend, you're going to use your first finger on the 2nd string at fret 5. And so you're going to pluck the 3rd string and then pluck the 2nd string at fret 5. I like to pluck the third string downwards with the plectrum and the second string upwards. And we're going to do this 10 times. Let me demonstrate. Excellent. Okay, on to the next bit. You're going to do one more bend on its own like this, the same as before. And then you're going to play the first string at fret 5, second string at fret 8, second string at fret 7, second string at 5. So it should sound like this. Then you're going to play the first string at 7, then 5, then the second string at 8, 7, 5, and then the third string at fret 7. So it should sound like this. Okay, don't worry, I know it's a lot of notes to remember, you'll be fine. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is play the third string at fret 5, and this is quite unusual. You're just going to give it a little bend like this. Just a very small bend. Just push it a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to go. Now that's a very unusual move. It's called a rake, and it's quite common in rock and roll, especially for Chuck Berry. He liked doing that a lot. And what it is, just to explain, you'll notice that I'm laying my third finger across the strings. It doesn't matter where you put it really, fret 7 roughly. And I'm gently touching the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string. I'm not holding them down. And what happens is we use the plectrum to pluck strings 4, 3, 2. And they're dead notes because I'm just touching them, you see, okay? And then once you've done that, you're going to play the first string at fret 5. And you're going to join it together like this. And you can make it one fast movement like this. Now that, I can promise you, it takes a bit of getting used to. It's much easier said than done, okay? So once you've done the bend, and then the rake, you're going to go onto the second string at fret 8, and then 7, and then 5. And then what we're going to do is a bend, just like we did earlier, with the second string at fret 5. And you're going to do that twice, like this. Okay, nearly finished. What you're going to do then is the third string at fret 7, and then play the third string at fret 5 and hammer it onto fret 6, and finish on the 4th string at fret 7. Okay, that is it. That is the intro. That is the bit you wanted to learn. So let me go through it in slow motion, and then hopefully that should clarify it a little bit in your mind. Here goes. Okay, there you go. And when you speed it up, it's going to sound like this. Okay, there you go. Now, there's another bit I want to show you, which is the riff from the chorus. When Chuck Berry is singing, "Go, Johnny, go, go, go," in between those lyrics, he plays this. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Like that, okay? So just have a go. What it is, I'm using my third finger on the third string at fret 7, and the middle finger is on the second string at fret 6, and I'm going to pluck them and slide up 2 frets like this. And then pluck them 3 more times. And then put your little finger onto the second string at fret 10. So it should sound like this. Okay, so go Johnny, go, go, go. Go Johnny, go, go, go. Okay, and that's what he does in the chorus. Now, I don't just want to leave you with that. I want to give you some extra things that will make it sound even cooler. Because think of it this way, Johnny B. Goode is just a solo. And really, ideally, you need a band with you to make it sound right, or you need at least a rhythm guitarist to play the rhythm part in the background whilst you solo over the top. But of course you probably haven't got that if you're just practicing on your own. But what you can do is this. You can play half of the lead solo like this. And then once you've done that, you can go into the rhythm section on the D chord like this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So if you remember from lesson 10 in the free course, there was 4 bars of A to begin with, and that first half of the solo occupies those 4 bars. And once you've done that, you can then go into the rhythm part on the 2 bars of D. Now, if you've seen that lesson, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and that should make perfect sense, okay? So if you're playing on your own, that might sound a little bit better if you're entertaining friends with an acoustic guitar or something. Okay, now as well as that, I want to show you a few extra little rock and roll licks which you can use to improvise with. Here goes. Try this one. So what I'm doing there, I'm using these fingers to bend the 3rd string at fret 7 like we did in the solo. Bend it up, and then the first finger is laying flat across strings 1 and 2, and you'll see with the plectrum I'm plucking the 2nd string downwards and then the 1st string upwards. So when we join it together, and if you repeat that and speed it up, it sounds really cool. And another thing you can do is quite simply bending the 2nd string at fret 8. And I'm always using 2 fingers to help push the string because that makes it easier. So bend the 2nd string at fret 8 and then play the 1st string at fret 5. So play it like this. Okay, I'll have to leave you to practice that in your own time. Another riff you could try is this one. What I'm doing there is holding the 1st and 2nd string at fret 5, and then I'm using my 3rd finger to lay flat across strings 3 and 2 at fret 7. And then I'm holding my 1st finger flat across strings 3 and 2 at fret 5. But this time I'm hammering my middle finger on to the 3rd string at fret 6. And then finishing on the 4th string at fret 7. So try that. Another one you could try doing is holding your little finger flat across the 1st and 2nd string at fret 8 and then going off to the 1st and 2nd string at fret 5. And you can alternate between them. Or try it with the 1st string at fret 8 and the 2nd string at fret 7 and then off to both at fret 5. So, and you can notice that I'm just pushing them a little bit. I wouldn't call it a bend, but it's just a kind of a tickle. I'm just pushing them a bit. So what you can do is combine all these riffs into a rock and roll solo. Okay, I think you get the idea. And you don't just have to play them at fret 5, because fret 5 is in the key of A. So if you think back to the 12 bar chords that I showed you in the free lesson, and you'll also find them in the PDF document for this lesson, if you remember correctly, it's 4 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 2 bars of A, 1 bar of E, 1 bar of D, 1 bar of A, 1 bar of E. I hope you know what I'm talking about. So when you're playing over the A chord, you can play at fret 5. When you're playing over a D chord, you can play up at fret 10, using exactly the same riff, but just moved up the neck. And you can use all the same riffs, and then when you're playing over an E chord, you can do it up at fret 12, like this. Okay, so you can move all around the neck, and you should be able to combine all that and create your own solo, which will sound something like this. okay? And I was just combining it all together, and that's what you need to experiment with. So I encourage you to go and have fun with this, experiment, take all those riffs and mishmash them together, and you should become an incredible rock and roll guitarist. So thanks very much for joining me in this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Watch it several times, print the PDF document out as usual to help you so you can look at the tab. Go and have fun. I'll see you soon in one of the other video guitar lessons, and make sure you email me to let me know how you're getting on. Okay, bye-bye.